and just because I'm recording it. No, I don't care. I ain't being fancy. Y'all already know why y'all here, what y'all here for. Um, so this is the third class, you know. We did, oh, let me move this, y'all faces. There we go. So we did the first class, you know, creating a budget, building and maintaining your credit, right? So creating a budget, understanding your own cash flow. Second class, building and maintaining credit, learning how to play with other people's money. Third, so first, playing with your own money. Second, playing with other people's money. Now, third is how are we going to play or not, because we can't play, right? If you're a business owner, it's how are you going to manage your money? How are you going to manage the business finances, the business expenses, the day-to-day operation, right? To me, it's always like, all right, at first, or still for now, is like I'm a sole proprietor, right? Thinking I have to wear all of the hats. Um, and I don't, you know? And that's just me really coming to realize that now. It's just like, all right, if I want to truly start a business, right? How do I start that? How do I start building my team? And it's like, all right, how do I start that? In the beginning, right? The first thing is to actually understand what is a business. What am I trying to actually do? So I'm always grabbing stuff from the internet and then wording it out. But you know, the internet's definition of what a business is. A business is an activity of making one's living or making money by product or buying and selling products, right? Or producing or buying and selling products. So for the most part, we see, you know, business as a service, the service industry, right? We provide something, receive some type of cash back, or whether it's for our time, a product, or anything. But part of that is like, all right, now I understand what a business is. Where do I go next, right? And I would say, all right, now you understand you want to do a business, right? Understand the different types of business entities and the different type of business structures. So you can actually understand what kind of business do I actually want to create? So do I want to have a sole proprietorship, right? Where it's just you, or if you know it's your spouse, it's just Yatsu, it's one entity that's not incorporated. Then you have an LLC, you know, which is your liability company. It's a registered business that is registered within the state and that you're giving limited liability for all its members. Then you have, you know, partnerships, which is you have a limited and then you have a general one. You know, partnerships are structured to shield all the partners from personal liability. And then you have your limited partnerships, which is registered businesses composed of active general partners and passive, but it has limited partners in it. Then we also got, you know, our corporations, C Corps, S Corps. We have our nonprofits, and then we also have estates. So from these, I don't want to go into be so definition heavy, because we can all, you know, take the time and look at each entity and definitely have to research each one based on the type of business structure you want to set up. Hey, Jessica. Oh, she ain't jumping yet. Hey, Jessica.
Hi,
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. So we just started a couple minutes ago. So we just actually going through, you know, the different type of entities for corporations right now. So yeah, you want to figure out what type of entity structure do you want to have? What is actually perfect for your business? And this is just all part of you doing your research, seeing what people in your industry are doing. Does that business structure line up with your goals? Does it make sense tax-wise? Does it make sense legal-wise? You know, I think, what is it? I'm not gonna even go back to the other slide because there's some accountants in the room. C Corp, right, is double taxation. Do you actually want to have that? So at a C Corp, you're taxed on the individual level, and then you're also taxed on a corporate level. But then you look at like an S Corp where the taxes pass through. or, you know, a limited liability, or you're a sole proprietor? Which way do you actually want to have your business set up to where you're being taxed? So that's certain different things we want to continue to look at as well. Any questions? Or, you know, if you have any questions, you already know, just unmute yourselves, ask. Um, Again, you know, this is just a conversation we're basically having and learning from each other.
Can you actually go back to that first slide so I can get a screenshot of it?
Yep. This one?
Yes. Thank you.
And this is the second one. And like Jessica, I think you missed the first, but I was, you know, telling them like, this is me actually really, like, even though I've been running my business for a while, I'm really at that stage where I'm actually learning to start my business and transfer it from like a hobby into actually running it like a business, putting the right structures in place. So I'm gonna actually share, because like I said, I'm really on this learning process as well. So I'm gonna show you two books. I know a lot of y'all already heard of this one, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I gotta finish it. So I gotta stop playing with that. Crazy thing is I was halfway through, and me trying to be nice, knowing I shouldn't have, I lent it out to someone, and I ain't never get it back. So now I have to go buy a new one. And then another book from Rich Dad, Poor Dad was The Business of the 21st Century. So this has actually been good. I'm halfway through with this. Crazy way how I actually found this book, and this is me just being on this journey. So I'm in Maryland now, right? And they got all these little book libraries just out in the street in public. So this was actually like in the corner of the book library. And before I closed it, I was like, let me look back again and see what's in there. And I started reading this book, you know, Business of the 21st Century. And I think he wrote this during the, what we call it, the financial crisis of 2007 and 2008, right? Literally the first chapter of the book, I felt like he was talking in 2020. And it was just like the same thing, the same conditions we're in, the job loss, the uncertainty. So far this book been helping me get my stuff together. So these are two books I'm reading to actually, you know, help me with understanding what are my next steps with the business. And another one I brought, this is like a little workbook from, this one is actually called The Game Changer by Raven Paris. So I've been using this as well. So this is like, as of for right now, like, you know, doing my research online, looking at some YouTubers, not YouTubers, influencers, at least the ones that align with where I'm going and what I'm studying. So I'm taking my knowledge in from various forms, different people, and then, you know, just double checking it, vetting it to make sure it makes sense for me. So one of the first things of like, all right, you understand your business structure, right? It's what kind of business do you want to have too? Like even before that, right? Like we think about how do we set up a business structure. That's maybe just me being an accountant, like trying to jump straight into the business structure. But it starts with your thoughts, your ideas. What do you want to do? You know, what kind of company do you want to have? Like this book of the Business of the 21st Century, it talks about creating businesses that last, right? The need-based businesses, and especially that we look like right now, restaurants are doing bad, right? And we would have thought that was a need-based business, but literally looking at it, it's a want. You know, now we really see that outside dining is a want, because we can literally cook for ourselves all the time in our house. And that's an industry that was once booming that is like it's shutting down. And then another thing, stores, malls, right? Things that was once popular, and especially like within this pandemic, is like, okay, these are closing down. Now we're seeing everything is going online. Like, so there's the shift of everything around us that we have to be ready to adapt for. and you want to try to build or create a business that will last. And sometimes it's hard to predict, but think about what's the name of that? Polaroid, right? Polaroid didn't want to adapt, and they wanted to keep running their business the same way. When times start to change, you have to evolve, you have to adapt. I think Polaroid is trying to make a comeback, but they never they never stayed up with the times, and you have to create a business that you also feel would weather the storms of economic situations. It's not easy to see, because we don't know what's going to happen in the future, but that's where, when you're creating your brand and creating your business, you have to keep that in mind. So when you're creating your brand, right, what are you passionate about? What does your brand actually represent? What makes your brand different from your competitors, right? Because think about like Uber, right? Uber was the first pioneer. But now we have Via, we have Lyft, we have all these other companies, right? What is different from each one? What other services do they provide? Because you can always have a company out there, but what makes yours different? What makes yours better? Clubhouse right now, right? Clubhouse is taking off again, right? All it was a chat line. Like Clubhouse is technically just a chat line. And think about the chat lines from back in the day, especially for some of us that are a little older. We used to have these chat lines where you could go and talk to people and all this stuff. They reinvented something that was already out there. They made something where they already had a competitive industry. Like there's already a competitive industry, right? We're competing with all these other social medias, right? So, hey, Renee, we're competing with all these other social media companies, but Clubhouse comes and makes it different. And it was the same thing with like when Instagram came out, right? There's already MySpace. There was all these, Facebook was already there probably. Like there was Vine. Think about how Vine came and took everything over. And then, so it's like, what makes your company different from the competitors? Like, how are you going to stand out? And then even Vine got swallowed up. As good as it was, they conquered, and then, not staying up with the time. It was just like, bye. Like, all right, you're gone. So understanding what makes you different from your competitors. And then also knowing what is your target demographics, right? Who is your target audience? Who do you actually want to be using your product or your service? Who do you intend to reach? Knowing that is key. That way, when it comes to marketing, you understand different marketing strategies to reach out to those people, right? If you have a business that's catered to senior citizens, you're not going to be on YouTube promoting it, most likely. You're probably not going to be on Instagram using it. You're not going to be on TikTok using it to promote to them. So understanding who your target demographic is will tie into how do I do my marketing. Reevaluating like what is my business plan. So knowing your target demographics is key. And then knowing who your competitors are. Like first, I always say my number one competitor is myself. Obviously, there are other brands out there. And we got to remember, we live in a capitalist society, right? People will look at you, mimic you, and then try to do it better. So you have to understand your competition and play chess. How am I 2 steps ahead of them when I'm chasing them and they're chasing me? So even if you're the number one brand out there, right? Nike is probably like one of the bigger brands, but look at Fila trying to make a comeback, New Balance, Puma. Like Nike may be at the top, but you have all these other brands that are still chasing and trying to do things better. So know your competition and know what makes you different from your competition. Everything they offer is going to be different. So, once you understand and creating your brand, right? I would say, I don't think I really have, okay, this is the tax ID part. After you understand your brand, right? Next is, all right, let me actually stop sharing this for a little second. Where do I stop sharing? Stop share. Okay. So next, right? After you understand creating your brand, next is like, how do I actually set up my company name? Like, what do I want my company names to be? So now you understanding your brand, now create your name, and I would say start with looking up at first thing first, and this is where I'm at right now, right? Trademark your business. And I'm learning that because like this invest in you thing, even the Weems tax service, I have to brand it. Because if someone literally came in today and says, yo, he got a good idea, I'm gonna take his name and now either he's gonna have to pay me for it or he's gonna have to cease and desist and stop using it. So do you want that to where just someone else comes in and is like, all right, I'm gonna debo your business. I mean, your business is your business, but I'm gonna take your name and now you gotta pay me to actually use it. So look at trademarks, see what trademarks are actually out there. Is your business already, is that name trademark? Because you want it to be individual, you want it to be to you. Remember what happened with Jay-Z and with the Blue Ivy name, right? The company already was using the name Blue Ivy and they had it trademarked first. And when Beyonce went to sue them, it didn't uphold, I believe, because they already had it trademarked. So it's like, you can't take it from me. And that's why like trademarking your name is in your business logos and everything is key because you just can't come in. I bet that business is thriving off the Blue Ivy name, just off the searches. Because it's like, I'm gonna Google Blue Ivy, I may pop on a website first and then click into it. But now Beyonce and Jay, billionaires, can't debo it from me. Now, if you want it, you could probably buy it from me, but that's because you have the rights to it already. So, trademark your name. I'm definitely gonna, this is the part, let me go back to share my screen. Right here, this is the website. USPTO.gov, right? So let's see, if you actually want to search, like if the trademark is there, just go on this website. Like I searched mine, right? Let me go back. Search for trademarks right here. So you go to trademarks, you go to TESS, and then I just did a basic word search, right? So if I want to do the invest in yourself, did I spell that right? Yes. See how many names actually come up? So you want to be careful with that. So like mine, what I'm actually will call it is the Invest in Yourself series. And then luckily, oh, well, it's moving a little slow, but all right, there we go. Nothing pops up with that name, right? So that means I literally got to stop playing and get this taken care of and book this so no one can ever take it from me. Same thing with, like my slogan for my tax company, which is everyone needs an accountant, not just the wealthy, which I definitely think we all do. You try to manage your money and we don't even know how. Like I'm still learning how to manage my money. But this is definitely, you want to make sure that your business is legally set up to where someone just can't come in and take your name. So you want to have your structure set up good. So this is the website where you would go on, USPTO.gov. So this is where you actually go, look into it. I would really say go on YouTube, do your research, find out how to do it yourself, because everyone's out there charging. Sometimes it may not be feasible and we do have to pay someone to do it. Cool, but understand the basics. So, if you do have to pay someone, you're not getting screwed over. Like, all right, they're not charging me in excess because you'll understand what the base fees are. The next thing I want to go on to, right? And this is a thing I see misused a lot. Your EIN number, right? There is so many companies. When you create an LLC, do you also trademark at the same time? I would agree. I would say yes. Did I do it? No. Am I doing it now? Yeah. Will you get away with it? Possibly. But imagine if you create your LLC and it takes off instantly, right? There's vultures out there. They probably already searching it. Like, all right, let me see if this is taken. So you want to just prevent any outside negativity coming in to actually take what you have. So I would, once you're creating your business structure, you know, ideally you would want to have that in place. EIN, right? So the next thing, applying for your EIN number, right? There's companies out there that charge $50, $100, $200. It is free to do it. Like, people are literally charging people. It takes you, and this is the website, right? irs.gov. And if you just go straight to the search bar and just type in EIN, this is the page itself, but just type in EIN. And right here on the first search, apply for employee identification number. This is your tax ID. This is basically like your company's social, like how you will be filing your taxes under this business. So it is free. It takes 10, 15 minutes. I went on YouTube. I watched 2 videos on YouTube and I was like, oh, that's it. Because I think on LegalZoom, they just want to charge a couple dollars. And the same thing with creating my LLC, right? How do you create your LLC? I went on YouTube. There was literally a guy on YouTube showing you step by step how to create your LLC in New York. He had it for different regions as well. I avoided paying all those fees to LegalZoom, and I just paid the $200 to the state. And he also taught me loopholes, right? Like, one loophole for New York, if you're a New York City resident, right? And you open your LLC in New York City, I would say no, you know, because you have, in New York State, you have to publish an ad when you create a business. If you create this business in New York City, you have to use their local publishing. So you got to use basically a bigger publisher and then like a local smaller publisher. The bigger publisher is New York Times. To run those ads for 6 weeks is going to cost you like $1,000 something just to publish it. So like, the recommendation I learned was to use what they call a registered agent. So a registered agent is just like, you can use our address, we'll receive your mail, and then we'll send it to you, and you pay them a service. And like, the one I was recommended was in Albany. So why Albany? Because the newspapers in Albany have a cheaper publishing rate. So I think for Albany, it was a couple $100. I ended up using my sister's address that is in Middletown. So in Orange County, the publishing cost was definitely lower. Like, at the time, I think it was like a couple $100 compared to the $1,000 I would be paying. So like, you want to look at stuff like that too. And he definitely breaks all of that down in the YouTube videos. I'll definitely like create a page with like all the links for everything so y'all can find it. But, you know, again, applying for your EIN number, it'll take you 15 minutes, if that, and you get it right away. Like, I still have my paper copy. You'll get a printout version, right? And then they'll mail you a version. This is my e-fin. So a little simple paper the IRS will give you. It'll give you, basically, tells you when you applied and the ID that they assigned you, and it'll also tell you your classification. So for me, it says a limited liability company may file Form 8832. So it gives you important reminders and things like that. No need to really pay someone to do it. It's quick, easy, and if it's not that many of y'all, so I'm not talking to like 500 people. If you need help with it, hit me up. I'll walk you through it as well. So after, you know, you get your, you know, you trademark your name, you get your EIN number set up. And I say do the trademark name first because you will have your business name, and then when you create your EIN, you know that, all right, this is the entity name that I will be using. You don't want to create your EIN because you have to pitch your business name, and then you try to go get the business name and it's already taken. So trademark the name, make sure it's available. Also, when you're creating an LLC, make sure it's available on there too. So I think how did I create my LLC? I think it's the state's website, because each state, you have to create an LLC. So there's a state website for each LLC. You can search your LLC name, see if it's taken. You want to make sure you do that, or any business thing that you're going to use. Make sure it's available, make sure it's not trademarked, and then even for the EIN number, make sure it's not taken. So this is all the back end stuff you're going to do before you actually launch your business. Any questions so far on that stuff? All right, so to me, that's make sure I ain't forgetting nothing. I think that's the back end part, right?
Do you have to, after that, you create your W-9 so that you always have it, like when you do business with other companies or whatever? And
I
they
would.
ask that, is that something?
Yeah, I would definitely have it. And then you definitely need that based on the type of business you have, right? That's why you have to know the type of structure you have. Because if you're definitely a person dealing with vendors, you probably need a W-9. And even if you're doing like speaking engagements, maybe you're not having vendors, right? You may have to send out your W-9 so you can get paid. At least within like our job, right, Mary Lou, like these outside vendors that we pay, or even our agents, right? I'm in the real estate. The agents have to supply a W-9, and we utilize that to put the information in the system. So yeah, a W-9 is definitely something you'll want to have set up as well. And it takes 2 seconds to fill it out. That's once you
and
have.
It's free, and it's free.
You just Google it and download it. That's it. Just Google the W-9 and
On
fill
the
it
IRS site.
in.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
people, I don't know, I hope people don't pay for that. But literally print it out and follow the instructions. I think that is one. No, it's not. I am lying. It is simple, but you'd be surprised how many people jack this form up. It happens. The IRS is complicated, right? They don't even give us clear instructions on how to really file our taxes, but we gotta file our taxes. Don't get me on that. That's a whole conversation for probably soon, because taxes is about to start. But you want to get all of that back end work done first. You want to have all your legal structures set in place. This is where now it's like, all right, getting into the business, right? And this is like one thing I'm learning right now. Did I close the screen? I probably did. I was actually looking at this, right? So, once you have all of that, right? So it's like, you got to be able to tell your story. Like, why are you doing this? Like, what is the point of your business? And this goes back to, why are you different from your competitors? So learn your story, and then learn the persuasion of storytelling. Like, how are people going to relate to me? How are my customers going to relate to me? What do I see in their brand that might, like, oh, you know what? This is why I might want to buy this. Like, I got friends who got crappy products. And we support them. Now it's all how they sell it. It's all why they doing it. And it's like, all right, some of my friends is like, all right, I understand why he does this, and you have to put that out there. Is a story different from your mission statement? I think your story defines your mission statement, kind of. I give you, and like I said, I'm still developing this for myself, right? I realize my mission, right, is to help people understand financial literacy, for us to accumulate wealth together, right, in a community sense, to where we back to, like, think about the Black Wall Street days, right? How can we get back to that, to continue uplifting each other and building wealth together? Where does it come from? Like, my story is like growing up in the projects, money being tight, watching my sister raise 3 kids, and even though she was she was an LPN, not making much money, but seeing her struggle, just to put food on the table. And I can honestly say, like, we never went hungry, but I can see when sometimes things was tight, or you had that, but she was always able to pull through and provide. So my mission is, how do I start breaking those generational curses to where we don't have that, right? So your story might, or should, I feel, tie into what your mission is. Sometimes that's your why. You got to understand what your why is, and that's maybe what your story is. Knowing your why, understanding what you do it for, and then it will be easy to actually understand your mission. Me, I didn't learn like everyone needs an accountant, right? Not just the wealthy. I always thought only wealthy people need accountant. Only people with money need accountant. But going into like having a job and want to be financially free, right? Besides me just being an accountant, I need someone who understands money, that is good at it, that can say, hey, this is how you should move with your money. Like often, a lot of us, I worked at Jackson Hewitt, right? People would come in and just file their taxes, but they didn't understand how they was spending their money and the implications that it had. So as a tax preparer, I realized people would come in, get their taxes, be sitting down for 10 minutes, right? Not 10 minutes, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. They get their taxes done, boom, I don't see them for another year. I can only give them a couple minutes of advice. So and my thing is like, nah, you really need an accountant. You need someone who's experienced to tell you, maybe you should be putting more money into your 401k to reduce your tax liability. Because you're saying, oh, I don't get to save, I'm spending on money. Maybe you should start allocating a portion of your check right off the rip to your 401k to where you're building for the future, and you're also reducing your tax liability. I don't get to have these deep conversations. I want to as a preparer, but me feeling that they need an accountant, like, all right, I can give you more time. We got to pay for it, yeah, but we have to also realize we pay for what we want, and we got to start paying for what we need. I was one of those people too. Like, oh, I could just do it on TurboTax, right? But I'll go buy a bottle of Henny. I go I'll go smoke some weed. I go do all this crazy stuff, right? And blow my money on this. But when it came to like treating my finances or actually taking care of myself, or think about even like gym classes or your mental health, we would spend all this money on BS, but not what we truly need. So I tell people, yo, allocate your money correctly. And that's what I thought accounting could provide me with a budget to understand where I'm spending my money and where I could trim the fat from. So when it comes time to file my taxes, maybe I can actually afford an accountant. I'm not just like, all right, I'm gonna just turbo taxing myself because I want to save the $200 the accountant is going to charge me, but I could blow it away anyway. So that's to me like where the budget comes in, seeing where you can trim fat. Maybe I can't maybe I got to use my credit card, like same thing, you learning how to utilize your credit to benefit. Maybe I'll pay my accountant on my credit card. And then when I get my tax refund, hopefully in 21 days, right before my statement date. So think back to what I was saying in the other classes, right? Utilizing your credit for your advantage. If I know when my statement date closes, right? If I charge this fee for my accountant on the first day of my statement, and I can possibly pay it if I get my refund, anywhere between 8 to 21 days. Say you get it on that 8th day, you can get the cash back on your card. So I'll probably say that's 2 to 5%, right? So that's one. You just got a discount on your accounting services. And if you pay that off before the end of the month, you save the any interest you would pay. So that's why I truly feel like, everyone should have an accountant. But that's just us understanding our money. Is that the same for legal advice? Do you need yeah. Yo, why not, right? I honestly think we don't know our rights, and our rights get violated every day. And it sucks. But we got to do our research as well as our own. If you got a business, you're gonna need a lawyer on hand, maybe. When, at what level, we don't know. Every business structure has a legal department though. Like, because shit is gonna happen. Things are gonna happen. So yeah, you do need a lawyer on by. You need an accountant on by. You need doctors on standby. There's a lot of stuff that we need to have, but we choose not to put our money into it because we don't know where our money might be going. But not to derail too much from that. Just to go back to knowing your story, being able to tell your story so your customers can relate to you. You want to stand out. Like, how do you really differentiate yourself so that your customers are drawn to you? And that's through your storytelling. Next is what are you offering your customers, right? Whatever you are offering, right? You got to make sure you're doing more than what your competitors doing. I was literally watching Tony Robbins yesterday, right? And he talked about this company, Zappos. Hold on. He talked about Zappos, right? They created women's shoes. So they used to, they've promised free shipping on women's shoes, right? And then at one point, he's like, how can you make the offer better? And then that's what makes you different from all these other companies, right? So they emphasize, all right, we'll do free shipping, and if you don't like it, you can ship it back to us for free, right? So what are you giving to your customers that other people aren't giving? Are you, again, look back to me, are you putting 120% into your customers, right? I work at a customer-based business, right? And I can literally see the company who they feel are their customers is the real estate agents. They're pouring everything into their customers. So your customers have everything they need and beyond to keep them as a client. So make sure, you know, whatever product or service you have, you're giving 120%, or even more. Don't shortchange your customer. They'll see it. They'll feel it, and you know you'll lose that client. You'll lose that customer. You're gonna lose some customers anyway, you know. But the word of mouth is what is key to your business. So if you're someone giving 120%, you might lose some customers because your competitor may be cheaper, but they will always say, yeah, like, you know, I went to such and such because they're cheaper, but, you know, this company's still great. You know, it's just maybe their financial situation changed to where they can't afford it. So make sure you're always giving 120% in your business, even if you lose those clients, because the word of mouth alone will just travel about your business. Any questions about that?
I had a question. It was sort of on the last part when you were checking to see if your trademark was taken. Like, do the capital letters matter? So, for example, if you put invest in yourself in capital letters versus like lowercase, is it like lowercase and uppercase?
It's the name in itself.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, I don't know if it's a certain way that it was put in.
No.
But okay.
No, but usually when you set up a legal structure anyway, remember corporations, businesses are all put in capital letters.
Okay, got it.
Like this is the EIN. Yeah, I can stop the share. Next, right? All right, so understand what you're giving your customers. Next is also, you have to, where's your online presence too? Like I probably jumped the gun on that. You know, your marketing, your business. Do you have a website? Are you using Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube? Are you following the trends? And I think I'm realizing that, right? COVID hit. I'm a very in-person kind of presenter. Like I like doing things in person. Did I follow the trends of, you know, doing online workshops and all that? No, because it didn't feel right to me, you know. But you got to look at the trends. You got to be willing to adjust. Back to Polaroid, right? They was not willing to adjust. What happens when you don't adjust? You become obsolete. So part of your marketing, you have to follow the trends. As even if you don't like it, like I don't like TikTok. I don't know nothing about it. Should I have an account? Yeah. But, and this is the thing, right? I can have the account and not manage it. I don't like it, right? So you find someone that can manage it. And that goes back to building out your team. Knowing who you need. This is not a one-man show, right? As I've been trying to do. Knowing your weaknesses. And that all will help with your marketing strategy. I think I ran into this thing recently called the DISC assessment. Let me actually, I had it up. Nope. Yeah, here it is. And this definitely will help you as well, right? So understanding, like I said, I don't like to do marketing, right? So I got to understand who can I bring on that can do that, right? And this was one of those things that actually assist you with it, in the terms of understanding the different personalities that you work with, right? So it's called DISC, and it talks about the D, the I's, the S, and the C's. From what I'm understanding, I'm more of an I, right? The people who are able to influence people, the people that have the ideas, right? But one thing I realized I lack, based on my decision, right, is the C's. The C is your critics, the people that would say, all right, I hear your plan, but you might want to retool this. Like when I told my girlfriend my decision, she was just like, bro, you're bugging, like literally. And I'm like, nah, I got this. Like, this is it. This is it. But she's telling me like, no, no, no. And I'm not listening, right? Like, I feel like, no, this is what I got to do. But you need those C's on your team. You need the people that are going to be like, no, this is, you, like you asked, right? Do you need a lawyer? What policies do we got to put in place? They're your checks and balances. Then you have your S's, right? Your S's are your supporters, people that are going to help you grow your business. And remember, there's so many different ways to support a business besides them actually spending on your product. So remember, you're always going to have those supporters. And that ties back into your marketing, how people support you. And then your D, dominance. What did D stand for? It says tends to be confident and place emphasis on accomplishing bottom line results. Oh, your D is like your delegators, right? It's your managers. It's who you're gonna have. Like, I'm coming out with the ideas, right? Now, I may be the idea person. Me knowing myself, I don't like to complete stuff. And that's me getting over my stuff, right? Understanding I got to learn the art of completion. That's where your D personality will come in, knowing I can't do it all. But now I have a delegator, someone I know who's going to come in and get the work done. They're usually like less empathetic, but you want to make sure you have that balance of, is like, all right, I'm here to crack the whip. We need to get this stuff done. And you need that person who's going to be dominant. I have the ideas. I need someone who is going to make sure those ideas are getting put into the world. And then you have your critics, right? Your critic is going to make sure, like, all right, tune these ideas a little bit different. Yes, your ideas are great, but this is where you need to tweak it. And then your supporters, they'll come in last. Like, not to say last, but you have your supporters who are like, all right, yeah, I got everything together. Right, let me put this information out there. Let me support them in any way possible. So I actually got to do this assessment. But when you're creating your team and you're creating your market strategy, right? I think this is such a great tool to understand who you collaborate with. You can't be an I working with an I, because it's like, I want to run a show, you want to run a show. We're going to clash. Now, maybe the two I's can collaborate together, right? And so where they can do a project together, but you usually don't see two I's being in a partnership or, running the show together, because you will bounce. That's just understanding, like, again, building your team. You want to make sure everyone fits into the role that you need. So that, that's the marketing. But besides social media, right, you want to have an online presence of like a website. Make sure you have a website as well. It's real cheap to create a website. My first website, I made it. It was trash. But I had an online presence, right? I had something where people can say, oh, this is a real company, right? Regardless if it was limited in the capabilities and the function, it's like, oh, he has a website. I can go, I can, see what he does, see what he's about, understand his brand. I could book an appointment. Did everyone ever do it? No, I don't think so. My traffic was like, I realized, like, if I gave my card out, some people probably went to my website. But I didn't have a constant flow of traffic because I wasn't marketing it right. Why? Because I don't like marketing either. So back to the DISC assessment, finding people that's going to actually complement my team. So you definitely want to have, your online presence as well. And then keeping track of everything your company does, keeping track of your engagements, what you're doing out there. So if you are a company selling clothes, right? What events are you going to? Are you going to trade shows? Are you going to pop-up shops? Like, what are you doing to put your brand out there? And you want to keep track of it. And then eventually you'll learn how to monetize those type of events. You know, how do I make money off of doing this? Thinking about like, all right, the NABA thing, right? Doing NABA. When we go to this convention, these companies want to recruit the best talent because they want to keep bringing revenue into their company. So they're keeping track of, all right, we spent 50,000 on this engagement. The people we hire, right, from these events, say if we hire 200 people, I'm pretty sure they're tracking the 200 people, the type of work they are bringing in the revenue they're bringing in. So is my company monetizing off the engagements we are doing? And that's just tracking your bottom line. So you can really truly understand your profit and loss. Does it make sense to invest into this? Do I actually get a return on my money? And I got some, all right, so, and then another key thing, philanthropy work, right? I think that's key. That is like number one, like in my eyes, like giving back, right? Because that's what I'm doing, right? Lifting as we climb, helping people grow. No matter what your industry is, try to give back. I've always been like someone who's not greedy. I've learned to survive on a little bit of money. So even like as, you know, my income increases, you know, you want to make sure, you know, you do save and, you know, but you also want to make sure you give back. You help someone else out. And just make sure it's from your heart, not with like the expectation of, all right, I'm gonna give, so I'm expecting to get something back. You know, do it because you choose to and because you really want to help someone else out. And the number one thing, which is probably really a whole different class, make sure you have a business plan, right? Like I'm literally going, this was like, that is like a whole nother class, right? Creating your business plan. It gets deep, right? There is business templates out there, but like when you have, all right, the simple business plan template presents it here, right? So first thing, like in just creating your business plan, right? You want to have your business name, you know, the date you're starting it, your business information, your website, because now you have your online presence, the address to your company, the name you'll be going as, the, you know, the company or financial institution. And then part of your business plan, right? You'll have your executive summary, you'll have your business and industry overview, your market analysis, right? Understanding the market and your competition. As well, you'll have your sales and your marketing plan, right? How am I going to make money? How am I going to market? Ownership, right? Understanding the ownership of your business. Who are the owners? What is the management plan? If one of the owners, right? How are we splitting the profits, right? When, and then management plan, like how are we going to manage the day-to-day business? Which tasks does each owner have? Is each owner putting in an equal amount? Are we paying each owner the same share, right? So you want to have that part of your plan as well. And then you also want to have, you know, your operating plan and your financial plan as well as part of your business. That's literally what I got to do right now. So I guess I'm BSing. It's crazy because as I was prepping for this class, and I'm like, I bought this book probably September, right? And I started it. And the part I actually got stuck on, and this is why I got to actually finish it, was my personal bio, right? I'm like, oh, like, I don't know why that's so hard for me. I got stuck on the personal bio, so I never really got to this part. So when I was preparing this class, I'm like, yo, like, my business plan is literally in my head. Like it's there, it's in my head, but looking at this is like, nah, I gotta get this on paper. Like I gotta get everything documented. So make sure you we have these ideas in our head. We got to write them down so we can foresee it as well. Otherwise, it just in my head, it's just bouncing around. Like I have no true structure of it. And that's what I was saying. I'm at that part where now I go from hobby to business. And having that business plan is key. And we need it, right? You want to have that. You want to have your business structure set up properly so that you can sustain your business. And then, so 15, like you, all right, say you got your business set up, everything is running, you got your business plan, you understand where you want to go, you got your website, you know, you set up your EIN, you got all your legal structures in place, right? And now you're running. So how do you actually sustain the business, right? And one thing, I'm gonna start with this tip first. Don't chase money, right? If you have a service that's great and people's gonna see it, right? They're gonna understand that. Ultimate goal is always to make a profit, right? I forget the percent. I think 70% of businesses fail within the first 3 years because of poor planning. That's why you gotta have a business plan. Luckily, I'm good with managing all my crap in my head. And two, the tax business being one of the lowest startup cost businesses that I know. At least the way I went about it, right? The way I learned to go about it, because there is different ways. I don't know if y'all heard of like jumping jacks tax. They charging like $5,000 to $10,000 to get in and all of this stuff. And I was just looking like, yo, I didn't pay none of that. Like, but that was me working at Jackson Hewitt, understanding it, and then having an owner that worked there, right? So I understood starting this business, it didn't cost a lot of money. So I didn't need it. And then again, just don't chase the money. The money will come. If you build your brand right, the money will come. Let's see, be clear on what your business is, right? Like, and be willing to change, be willing to adapt that. Again, what works for your business right now might be sufficient, but you got to be willing to roll with the punches. Like my business partners, right? They want to start this vending machine business. I'm like, all right, it's been around, right? It's been around for a little while. And now I'm like, is that the best idea with the pandemic, right? Because most people are not out and about. They're in their homes. Eventually, maybe it'll be back to booming, but is that something great for right now? So hypothetically, if we was in that industry already, how would we have shifted to actually keep that income coming in? If you would have had it in a barbershop or, you know, in a corporate building, no one's really going to work, you know? So, or even if you had it in a laundromat, right? Maybe the laundromat's is still a business that is going to stay afloat, and maybe that was like the best place to put it. So make sure your business is, you know what your business is, and be willing to adapt. Pandemic has taught us, save some money. Keep cash in your pocket. Keep cash in reserve. Eventually, you know, you'll get big to where you want to acquire another business, expand your business, and reinvest into your business. So make sure you have that cash on hand. You're not like, all right, cool, I made $40,000 off this selling my products, right? I'm gonna go buy me a BMW. Like that's what we see people do, right? Go blow the money, but now another business opportunity comes up and you don't have the cash because you spent it on something you shouldn't. So save that money. Your business is, you know, it's like a relationship, you know, take care of it, it'll take care of you. It's your child, actually, you know, it's treated like your baby and how you want it to flourish. And always pay yourself last, you know, like make sure you keep your business expenses paid first. You know, you want to keep, if you have a structure, you want to keep your business open, you know, so make sure you pay your rent first of the business, unless you can move your business to somewhere else. I worked at, yeah, I think that's going to be my, no, I got 2 more tips. I worked at this bakery, right? Yo, she didn't pay her rent there for like a year right? And I was just like, and it's hell to get someone out of a space, commercial space too. She was able to rock out a year without paying rent. And I'm talking like 18K a month, right? She ended up getting booted out, having to move the business to like Syracuse, move the production elsewhere. Um, the team at the time, I got fired. Me and the CFO got laid off. It was like, can't afford you no more. Like seriously. And I was the junior accountant at the time. So me and the CFO got laid off, and she had her husband's accountant take over, right? Cool. But pay your rent, right? You literally got booted out of where you was. And that was because money was tight. She didn't have the best person managing her finances. I looked at the books when I got there, right? I was there, honestly. My resume may say I was there for a year and a half. I was there for like 6 months. Um, I know, right? The CFO said, "Go for it. I'll sign it off. Like I got you, Black CFO, dope." But the CFO she had there before wasn't managing the money correctly, and I think he was there for like a year and a half. He brought her out of a deficit. She was at a deficit he was there for 2 years. So having the right person on your team, right? Which is your accountant, your lawyers or your assistant. So whether it's legal or, anything, she like that last year, he was able to get her to break even, like break even. And I'm talking about, she was operating at a $4 million loss for some time. Husband's wealthy, they got the money, dad's rich. So this was like her little hobby, like seriously. Mind you, her business has been around for 20 years, but I learned what poor planning leads to. Like she didn't have the right team. She had people not managing her money correctly, right? And that to me, like that was that spoiled mentality, right? Just like I got a silver spoon. I'm doing what I love, but you got all these high expenses, and bringing in the right people, he was able to trim fat from places that it didn't even belong. Like there was, I got this is why I got caught on the shit end of the stick. They trimmed the fat, let go to the prior accountant, and then brought in an intern, and that was me. And I was doing payroll, I was doing HR, the onboarding, booking the expenses. I was on AP, AR. And I'm like, bro, y'all paying me $13 an hour. Mind you, I was still in, right? Shake your head, Ariana, right? 13. This is how effed up it was. And this is where I realized I knew my worth, and I wasn't mad I got fired. I was the delivery driver getting paid $15 an hour, delivering the damn cookies. But me running your books, I'm getting paid 13. Blew my mind. Even the CFO, he said, wait, you're getting paid more for that position? He said, I would have never even signed off on you getting paid more for that. But who am I to say? Like, he says, I feel effed up. Like, I'm paying you $13 an hour to do this, but you're getting paid $15 for driving. And I was like, I know. But look, me, tie back to investing into myself, right? I took it. When I started at Compass, I had NetSuite in my head. Like that was the we call it ERP system. I knew NetSuite in and out. So when I actually started another job a year later, I knew that system in and out. And that actually led me to getting a full-time offer at Compass. But it tied back to, just knowing how to run your business. She wasn't doing the best, and her business is still going. At what point, I don't know, but it took for her to lose her warehouse. She lost a store in Chelsea, and just like that, it's still running, but that was it. And this is why cash is king, right? And we're gonna close out on this, right? So 2 things. Take your mental health breaks too, because you gotta make sure your mind is right if you're running a business. You have a large people you're supporting, so make sure your mental health is right, and take advantage of any opportunity that comes your way. The CFO, right? I still speak to him all the time, Craig. He was doing real estate, right? And he was doing real estate in like Troy. So he had some income coming in. he took the income from that, right, and started his own nut-free bakery in Harlem. And it's booming. It's booming. And this is the same thing he was telling her, right? And just being frank, her being white, she didn't want to be in Harlem. She didn't feel comfortable because her counterparts would have seen it as, oh, you're in Harlem? You know, she's from Midtown. But there was a niche, there was a market. I honestly, I don't know what his storefront does, but it doesn't get a lot of traffic. His online business though, right, is booming. But what does he use the storefront for? Taking advantage of opportunities. So he also does UPS drop-offs, right? So yes, I have this bakery, but I also have this side to where I can produce different revenue for my business. That that company's booming right now. Like it is doing great, and he's created that opportunity. How? I was in a real estate. I was able to pull out equity. I was able to pull out additional funds from money coming in from one business to actually spark another business. And he did that with partnership, right? He did it with two of the other employees. I swear, if I had the cash at the hand, I was like, yo, I would have joined. I would have joined. And him knowing my worth, he wanted to bring me on undervalued. And I was already like, no. This is literally after I got my bachelor's and I was on unemployment. He was like, yo, you can come work for me, do this, do that. And I was like, nah, I'd rather be here grinding, applying for jobs. Like, I got my experience out of that, undervalued already, right? I had to know my worth. And I was like, I got my own business. Like, I could keep investing into my own business. So invest into your business, or look, he came in, like, know your competitors, right? He came in, knew her business inside and out. He's an accountant. He knew the cost analysis of what it costs to make a cupcake. He knew the profit margins. He knew the business in and out. What he didn't know, and this is what your DISC assessment is, right? He didn't know how to bake. He didn't know how to bake, but the people on her team, remember, she moved her whole warehouse. These people needed jobs. So he was able to pull people that lost their job to actually start it. And then one of the other people he partnered with, he was in charge of sales. He brought them on too. That was their partnership. But it's knowing where each person fits into their role, knowing how they're gonna, complement the business. Crazy part is, the two investors he started with end up leaving, and he ended up thriving even more after. And it was just like, you're going to bump heads, you're going to have people within your business that are not going to fit where you want to go. Like, they didn't see his vision. And I'm looking at it now like, wow, like, but he's always had that, me seeing him, he had that spirit, he had that mentality. And crazy, I see that in myself, but you got to go get it. You can all create businesses, right? Just got to have the mindset for it. And just trusting yourself, trusting the process, like Yannick would say, right? Don't rush the process, trust the process. It's a journey, which I'm learning, because my ass was running, doing stupid shit with my job, and I'm thinking about it today. But it's a journey, it's not a race. And that's what a business is, right? It's a long journey. You want the longevity of your business. Remember, all these businesses fail. We see it time and time again. How do you save money? How do you roll with the punches? How do you adapt and just survive, right? Look at the big companies that are surviving. Look at what they had to do. This economic situation, yes, unfortunately, they had to lay off some people. They had to scale back their businesses. They had to do temporary pay cuts. But those businesses that had a plan in place, most of them are thriving now. They're bouncing back slowly. Starts with your business plan, and making sure you have everything set up. Yeah. Any questions? I know that's like a lot. But like I said, I'm still figuring this out. I think, see, Alexa over there listening to all my ideas. Alexa, mind your business. But damn it, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, like by the end of this year, I really truly, and this is just me being serious, this business plan is not an overnight process, and it's a thing that's always going to develop. So I'm actually giving myself to the end of the year to have a concrete business plan as I actually go through the season. Like I'm gonna take my real estate class, and so I can understand real estate. I'm gonna do my CPA so I can actually have a deeper understanding of money. And that's just me adding skills to myself so I can add to my business. So keep investing into yourself. You are the money, right? If you don't invest into yourself, what can you expect to get? And the same thing with my work, right? Like I'm not invested into my work. So what do I expect to get out of it? That's why I'm frustrated. I think I was more frustrated with myself because I know my potential, right? So hush up, little dog. Continue to invest in yourself so you can thrive. Yeah.
Thank you. That you were giving gems the whole time, and I feel like when you were speaking, I sort of related to a lot of what you were saying, like let's say starting your own business. And I feel like the hardest part is just like starting, like
Do it.
finding exactly, yeah, exactly. And like sometimes with me personally, it's like I'm like, oh, what if this happens? Or I second guess myself sometimes. And it's like I really just gotta like just do what I want to do. It's like life is too short to. It's sort of cliche, but life is too short to have regrets, honestly. And it's like just do what you want to do. So this definitely helped me realize that even more. So just
Like this. And this is just me with my spiritual side, right? Me just aligning with God. If I honestly do what is right, and I feel like it ties into what God wants me to do, like, and this is literally what Renee told me earlier, because I called her. You can't F up God's plan for you, right? Like if you're truly intentional in doing it with good spirit and without an ill heart, He knows we're gonna F up. He knows we're gonna make these mistakes, right? And you'll learn how to navigate them. When I was working at this, and this is again me moving too fast and not understanding what's actually happening. I was working at this plumbing company, right? And like I already had my business going, and I was plumbing company, Jackson Hewitt, school full time, doing all of this, right? In myself, right? So end up quitting the job, the plumbing company, being told I was going to be promised full-time employment, right? In the same time, I actually was turning my business legit. Like I was one of people who taxes on TurboTax. I was one of those accountants at first, right? Bought the software. No, I didn't do the software yet. I did like my EFIN, right? So I can actually get the software and everything. So I'm like, all right, I can quit this job. Like I'm about to have all this stuff coming in. Started the process, but I didn't know the true process. What happened? I ended up being laid off from the guy who was going to hire me. My EFIN didn't come in. And it took so long to figure out why. But me starting that process, I realized, all right, I failed, right? But what happened, I had to work with someone else for a year. And I was still able to run my business, but under someone else's entity, like as a subcontractor. But I got the ball rolling and I learned where I effed up at. I learned where I messed up at. And I'm like, all right, look at where I'm at now because I tried, right? I started it. Like, and it doesn't matter if you're going to fail. Like, ultimately, you're going to get back to where you need to be. We're going to learn. You're going to grow because you're going to take on these new skills. You're going to keep teaching yourself. Like, all right, I jumped too soon. Why? I moved too fast. But now it's just like, slow down. Take in what you need to. And those are the lessons you learn by starting to move. You got to start the business. A lot of the stuff we're going to learn as we go. Why? Because there aren't people out there teaching it to us, right? Teaching us like how to skip these mistakes or avoid these. I didn't really have that in my corner. But once I did, and once I was actually working, like I was working with Ricardo, right? But I didn't understand the concept of starting my own tax business. I only knew it from just searching online. There was a lot of other stuff I didn't know. So by me starting the process and failing, I had to go work for someone else. And then I learned the ins and out on a deeper level. The following year, by myself, wasn't even, still speak to him to this day. That's my guy. Like, I know taxes because of him. But again, I was working for him. He left, had a new owner, got fired, and then went back to him, right? Went back to the teacher to learn again. But if I didn't start that process of my business, like being legit, I would have never learned that. I'll still be over there working for Jackson Hewitt. And this guy, well, I got fired because he wasn't paying us right. And I was causing an uprising, right? But that was me being knowledgeable, knowing that the money that's coming in is not correct. Funny thing is, he fired me on April Fool's Day. I thought it was a joke. Seriously, I was like, "What the hell?" But end up suing him. Through the labor courts. Got a little bit of money, nothing crazy. I wasted his time, which I felt was more valuable. Like, you're a CPA. I said, your time is more valuable than mine. I'm on unemployment. Like, I'm definitely going to sue you because you missing out on clients now. But me failing, right? It made me start the process, and then I look at where I'm at now. My business is booming, and then again I'm at the stage again learning, like, all right, this is not the right structure. You need to get everything in place. And if we keep waiting for everything to be perfect, everything, like, all of this has to be ducks in a row. No, start it, get the ball rolling. Snowball effect, right? Start the snowball, and it's going to grow. What happens, like, all right, the snowball might blow up, right? And you might, what's the best part? You get to do it again. That's the best thing about setting up like LLCs and business structures, right? These people go bankrupt all the time, but it's under the LLC. Boom, close it up, bankrupt. The business is bankrupt. I'm not bankrupt. The business is. Snowball blow up, cool. I'll roll another one. Why? Because I have the concept. I have the plan. I know what it is to take a baby and grow it. Maybe the first one didn't grow the way it want, but I have the concepts down pat. So just start and just make sure you align yourself with people who truly align with your goals. And you'll be good. Just baby
Yeah.
steps.
Okay. Thank you for that.
Always. Are you interested in starting your own business?
Yes, definitely. My thing is like I just like so many things, and so it's like hard to find like that. What is it called, niche?
Mhm.
Like of what exactly it is you're trying to market your business on, type of thing. And I mean, obviously, in this stage, it's not bad to like try different things to see exactly what you want to do, but that's just really where I'm at now. Like,
Mhm.
okay, I like photography. I like learning about real estate or investing. So like just different things.
Mhm.
And so it's just really like learning about it and which one I really want to pursue in the future. And that's sort of, I think, what I'm figuring out now. And then later down the line, that's the goal, to like have my own business. And because I would rather, like you, like I would rather work for myself than work for somebody else, or and
Mhm.
even if it's less money than working for a company, like I would prefer to have something of my own rather than, working for somebody else's dream.
Like, I would
Yeah.
rather put
So
in 80 hours a week for myself, because even like at my job,
yeah.
um, you're capped at a salary. Like, I'm like, no matter how many hours I put in, like, think your big four, right? We know our friends be getting dogged. And I'm like, all right, I'll be honest, like at my job, I've been making the same shit, 63,000, right? And even think big four, right? People who make 80,000, 70,000. But when you start
Mhm.
dividing those hours you put in versus what your take home is, now you really see your hourly rate. That's what it'd be like. People at the big four, y'all make minimum wage sometime. Like, but then you have to
Yeah,
think about
it's
the
like they're
sacrifice.
miserable.
When you think about the sacrifice and the knowledge you take in and stuff like that, there's always pros
That's
and
true.
cons. There's always pros and cons to it. Just for me, I'm realizing I have what it takes to still learn the knowledge, um, on my own and with my network. You know, NABA is probably my biggest asset that I'm not even utilizing to the maximum of my potential. Like, I was thinking about this. Like, I'm running NABA's social media. I'm running their PR. Do I know anything about PR? No. But what am I great at? I'm great at relationship building, right? I'm that dot connector. I gotta use that to the best of my ability. How did I get it, right? How did I actually get it? Joining the financial literacy team, right? Um, then going to the student membership service, going to all of the events, becoming the photographer for all the events. And these are just me doing everything I love. And that's what actually fueled my passion, like trying something. And I felt my passion for financial literacy, right? Now thinking of the bigger picture of what I want to do, right? Now I have to figure out how to tie in this PR role to what I truly want to do. Like I want to teach, I want to put financial literacy on a bigger map. I want um, everyone to get in on this, right? I have the relationships, I have the connections. Like I have to literally right now rebuild NABA's social media. Like our LinkedIn got flagged, 5,000 members gone. I got to recreate that. So in the process of recreating that, knowing what my deeper vision is, I get to relationship build right now. And it's just by trying and doing things that you like you'll find your path. You'll find what works for you and what business you want to start. You just do what you like, and everything else will eventually just come into place.
Fall into place.
Yeah.
Okay. That's good advice. I didn't even know that it got flagged. That's crazy. But I think I need to be on LinkedIn more. Like, I don't even use my LinkedIn.
Yeah, me either. I'm like, I got a job, I don't need it. But I gotta remember, like, we got a relationship build. We gotta put ourselves out there.
Yeah.
I think Stephanie.
And that's something I need to work on.
You know Stephanie? Shit, what's
Mm.
Stephanie's last name? I can't remember Stephanie's last name. She's
she's a student?
Mm-hmm. Stephanie, I can't remember.
Yeah, I know her. But like I know her because through evidence, but not like that. I think she transferred to my school, but
like she's maximizing the hell out of LinkedIn right now, which is creating opportunity. She's being seen. She was I thought she was shy. She was more shy than you. Like shy. Homegirl is out here rocking public speaking right now. Like, and I was just stepping out your discomfort zone, right? Like, and just trying new things. She got her own business and she's still in school.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I did. Like, you learn something and run with it. Just start it. And people are going to see what you're doing. And they're going to gravitate, right? People always want to gravitate to greatness. They want to gravitate to great causes. People always want to support. They always want to support something that has a good cause. NABA's a good example, right? We see like all these outside companies, especially with Black Lives Matter right now. Everybody wants a Black person right now, right? Let's not talk about how y'all was treating us Blacks and Latinos before, but you know, we're getting to another level. But use it to your advantage and just pursue your dreams. Just start it.
Definitely. Yeah, I gotta utilize my network more.
Me too.
And like make sure I keep in contact with people. Just like, work on it. But
some lady the other day, right? She reached out to me on LinkedIn, mind you. She knew me from taking pictures at the NABA event, right? And you know how people message you on LinkedIn, you be so weary about it, like what you want. That's at least me, right?
Yeah.
She literally hit me up, hey, how you doing? I hope everything is well with you and your family during this pandemic. And she's like, how may I be of help to you? And I'm like, who's this lady? Who sent her? You have no picture on your profile. So I looked at her profile, looked at what she did. I'm like, all right, she's an accountant. She's involved in ABRA. I was like, all right, here, I'm gonna give her my number. That conversation just on her reaching out, like the first 15 minutes, we were just talking about careers, what I'm doing, what she's doing. And I'm like, all right, cool. Let me cut the small talk. What made you hit me up? Like, what made you hit me up? Like, you trying to tell me something? She's like, like, nah, honestly, with everything going on in the pandemic, she's like, I had to start reaching out to people in my network. I had to just see how people are doing, even people I don't know, like to start creating those relationships. And I was like, oh shit, like, like this is what I should be doing. Like, but your network is your net worth. We know that. Like they tell us that all the time. Utilize it. We have to.
Definitely.
Like, yeah. Even just little things. Like being in did you hit up the financial literacy email?
Yeah, I was like, oh shoot, I need to do that today for tomorrow. Like, should I send it today or
Send it
draft
right
it
now.
for
Let's
tomorrow morning?
send it right now.
Okay,
Just
I'll do it right after this.
all it is your name and your number, and then I may just
Name
I gotta see if I'm an admin in that room.
for the email.
Because we have like a WhatsApp, right?
Oh, okay.
And they be dropping gems and stuff like that. But
Are
like
there a lot of students on the committee, or?
you know,
Okay.
um,
I would like to be on it.
I
All
think
right, so
like our student membership service, I think we have one student on the committee. They do limit certain tasks you can do, but it's nothing crazy.
mhm.
Like the person who was on student membership service, right? She wasn't allowed to review resumes, like something like small like that. You can still
Oh, okay.
contribute, you can still contribute and everything in different ways. Um, preferably they will want you on, a committee at your school, but there's technically, from what I understand, there's no rules against it. Like, do we not want to mentor the people that are coming up to actually take on these roles? So
Right.
I asked her, she said, just send your name, your number,
Wait, who is it? Like,
her
who do
school,
I address it to?
just to financial literacy.
Okay.
Financial literacy committee. I'm interested in joining. Um, we just say Kevin Weems told me, gave me this information. You don't even have to add my name. And just give them your name and your number. That's it. And your email. Just how they can contact you.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
they
Cool.
definitely be dropping like a lot of gems in there. Different like
Mhm.
random workshops and stuff. Um, it's a good means for networking. And like they do,
Right.
I think they gotta really start publicizing the events they do more, or at least I gotta start publicizing their events they do more. Uh, but
It's a lot of pressure on you
I need
for
a
the
team.
Instagram.
I told them I need a team, but you know what it is?
Bro, I would be a part of the team.
There you go. Boom. You're already recruited. You don't know what you for.
Right. But I think I would be interested in learning that kind of stuff.
I'm
Social
learning as I
media.
go. I'm literally
Yeah.
learning as I go. I'm over here taking marketing classes and trying to understand how to actually pull people in. They got me making flyers and I don't even know how to make flyers. I had to learn how to make
That's
flyers.
good.
And I'm
What is
like,
it? Canvas?
Canva.
That's simple.
Yeah, I was using
Yeah,
Canva.
Canva. Yeah,
But
that's what
it was
Nabla.
like the good thing from it, right? Now is like, how do I make these flyers for myself, for my business? How do I actually make these more interactive flyers?
Exactly.
So it's like I'm taking advantage of the opportunities.
Mhm.
Yeah. Send that email out, or just join my committee. There you go. But now
Yeah.
try to join the financial literacy committee as well, because the knowledge is just dope. You're not committed to like working 1,000 hours in it. If you could do 10 hours, you do 5 hours. If you do 1 hour, that's it. Like there's no like
Okay.
you're locked in for X amount of hours a week. No, a lot of our members pop up and contribute where they can, especially with
What's
everything.
what Now I was gonna say, like, what do you guys normally do
So
in
like when we
committee?
little dog, stop complaining. My dog over here whining. So like when we was in person, right? Like making sure certain things were set up. Giving ideas on how to cater events. Like remember, I don't know if you
Mm.
ever went to like our American Express events, right? So like just collaborating on ideas, and we came up with the topic of for the financial literacy events, we created like dinner table settings. So where each table had its own topic, to where it was like, all right, we're sitting down and we're having dinner table conversations, right? That little simple like helping with that was able to like, all right, how do I implement this in my own home? Like, how do we start having these dinner
Mhm.
conversations? But it was just like making sure guests knew where to go. I think I used to be like at the check-in sign-in part, right? That was my way of getting to
Yeah.
know members. That was always my way of getting to know names and people's faces. And it was good because when I see people coming, I got their tag already. I know their name, or at least it's like, oh,
Mhm.
like, I know his Mike. I don't know his last name. It helped. And then when I went to these events, I knew even though I take pictures of everyone, I know who my target people was. Like I know who the target people in Napa was. Like this is this big dog who works at Bank of America. He's a VP here. They're on
So
this
take
committee.
picture.
So, just yeah, drink.
Got you. All
drink
right, so I'm gonna send it.
something small.
Right. It's all about starting. You don't
And
gotta be big,
completing.
but
No. This is
starting and
what I'm learning.
completing. You're right. Completing too.
It's
That's
starting
right.
and completing. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it down. I'm going to get it down. I literally signed
Yeah.
up for this class. It's called The Art of Completion. Like I'm trying to turn over this new leaf. Like I'm trying to. I am. It's not I'm trying to. I'm going to. I'm going to. Speak into existence. Start small and dream big. Like seriously.
Right. All right. That's good.
This was longer than I thought.
Cause I see like I know we went over, but this is the last thing I'm about to say. Like I
Watch
see
out. I ain't got
like,
nothing. Well, I do got
like people my age, like let's say they're starting their clothing business or like a hair business, whatever. But like they started, it's going good at first, but then like they just fall off. Like they stop posting about it, or they just stop doing it. So it's about completing it too.
Yeah, and did they actually have like me, right? Being an I, right? You have these great ideas, you start it, but you don't complete it. You don't make sure everything is actually planned for. Yes, like everyone wants to sell hair, right? But did they actually know who their target audience is? Did they honestly stand out from their competitor? Did they actually present ideas?
Yeah.
The eyelash thing, right? Me not knowing eyelashes, right? Just all of my eyelashes look the same. Like all of y'all look the same. Like I'm sorry, some long, some little. Overall, to me, it was just
That's
like
funny.
It's just eyelashes, right? But what makes you different? What are you offering that's different from your competitor? Think about how Uber came out, right? Uber came out and dominated the industry with 0 cars. You got to be innovative too, Think about what that X factor you could bring. Uber,
Yeah.
Uber, Airbnb, right? Biggest industry. No, they don't even own the damn house.
They don't have any. Yeah.
They don't own no real estate. So, like, and then you got all these other companies that are mimicking them, right? So how do you stay above your competition always? But you got to start it.
I think the failure starts when they don't have that business plan. They're just like, I want to start a business. I'm going to do this. And then they don't follow through with everything, the discipline that you have to have. And then that's why they fall off, right?
I mean, there's various things. It could be the market. It can be, but definitely not having a business plan, you're going to fail. I've been so fortunate, like I said, even though I never had my business plan written down, I have low cost. Like literally starting my tax business, I found the way of starting it low cost. My biggest expense, honestly, was my printer. I think I already had the computer. I think and then I found out, all right, I'm spending too much money on ink, I'm spending too much money on paper. I was like, all right, I'm gonna print stuff at my job. And I was like, all right, I gotta stop being sneaky, right? Because I gotta run down to the printer, make sure like no one else sees. I gotta stay after hours. I said, you know what? Adapt. Hey, you want to receive this digital copy that you can always have in your email? Yeah. Some people have to transition. Some people still wanted both. Fine, but I was able to reduce my costs. Pre-pandemic, right? Because I was always working, always having another job. I can't meet with my clients if I'm working, if I'm doing a job. So I've been started the virtual thing of meeting with my clients. So going into this tax season, like I don't gotta worry about setting up virtual. My clients have been signing their tax documents for 3 years now virtually. Like I send it through like a DocuSign. Like so they're already not used to seeing me. Like out of the 120 clients I had, 10 of them probably see me. Like 10. And those are the people that I was like, I gotta come in person. Like, well, I ain't in New York, so how you gonna come in person this year? You gotta adapt. Either you gonna roll with me, if not, I may lose you as a client. That's fine. But if I gave them 120%, if I gave them everything they need, that client will be loyal to you. Like, all right, this is an inconvenience to me because I like to go see Kevin in person. But all right, maybe I gotta video chat him now. Hopefully the pandemic has, whipped the virtual environment on them to where it's like, all right, I'm okay with not seeing Kevin in person this year. Yeah.
It's all about adapting.
Because if not, you're gonna get eaten. What is it? Chameleon, right? Chameleons is what they change colors in the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They change color.
If you don't adapt to your surroundings, you will be prey. Simple as that. And keep providing more. That's it. I gotta go back and watch this whole shit and be like, Kevin, you talking to yourself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back and watch this before my 6 o'clock class because this is so unscripted. Like everything else, I really had like an outline, right? And I'm like, yo, yeah, I'm so curious to watch this back and then go see how my 6 o'clock class goes.
It's gonna go good.
I know.
Yeah,
It'll go good. I mean, I'm not worried about that, but just like, I'm gonna improve this one, especially because I think it free flowed. Let me actually stop. I was recording this whole part. Maybe I can actually have it. Do you guys sign over your right to YouTube so I can publish this every fucking where?